I'm going to get my name changed while we're waiting for everyone to get added in. McKenna and I share a Zoom account, and I sometimes forget to change. Let's do that. Okay, welcome. Everyone, take a little breath. Since we all know how it is to be trying to hop on in the middle of a Tuesday night with all of the stuff that's going on at home. But so excited for this group, our Rubies, Senior Rubies, and Jules. And we're gonna spend some time digging in a little bit with Gretchen and Cindy tonight. So I'll go ahead and open us in prayer. And then before we dive in to our curiosity sessions, AKA coaching, Megan and I, and Justin too, want to share some of what stuck out to us the most from this February Focus training series. It's been phenomenal. So we'll blitz through those things rather quickly, and then we'll kind of get to the question asking and deep dive. So if you'll pray with me. Dear God, we're so thankful for one another and for the opportunity to collaborate for these coachings and just really learn from both the giftings and some of the obstacles and struggles of the people that are so willing to put themselves out there on these calls. We're so thankful for the wisdom of the leaders that listen and ask and share. And we're so thankful for the gift of Plexus and for the freedom and the health and the community and the growth that you have brought into each of our lives through this company. So we ask that everybody who is here tonight is here to hear something specific, and that you would use those little seeds to grow a new thing. Megan said to me today, it's never a bad time to have a fresh goal or start a fresh season. And so I just pray that over each person that's here tonight. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Okay. Very good. So those who have kind of been clued in to Facebook have probably seen a daily post in February for these February Focus quick training videos. And we're getting the opportunity to learn from people who are just at the top right now in great momentum, growing, doing things right now that are working well in the industry and in social media. So it's been really awesome. And I've picked up a lot with just those quick 10 minutes every day. And so have the Goffs. So they want to share what's really stuck out to them, which I've already got a little sneak peek at. Love it. For me, I wanted to share these few things. The video with Allie Kintz, I really resonated with when she talked about prioritizing every Plexus activity. We all have full lives. And so when we grab those nooks and crannies to work our business, or when we grab those protected, maybe hour-long chunks, it's so vitally important that we sit down and don't immediately go into aimless scroll mode or just respond mode, responding to whatever's at the top of your messenger. That's not going to maximize our energy, time, and effort. So I loved how she spelled this out. She said the number one priority whenever you grab any Plexus time is potentials. And in order to prioritize potentials, we have to know who's in our funnel. And sometimes the system is nothing fancy, but for me, I have a little note in my phone that says my funnel. And so I always have a little clue of who's in my funnel, and those are the names that I'm going to be looking for in my messages, or in my if they're liking or engaging on my posts, because they're going to be my number one priority to be talking with. The number two priority, she said, was your daily IPA checklist, getting that fundamental basic checklist done for that day. And we came up with a great IPA checklist here among our two teams. We started it in November and we kind of evolved it in December. And I still use that checklist as my target, as my ideal, as my daily aim, at least 6 days a week. Now, are there days where I can't fit in every activity on that list? Yeah, I realistically feel like that list takes a good 2 hours, maybe 3. But if you're wanting to go pro in network marketing, if you're wanting to build a Plexus income that is a really great, potentially, full-time sort of Plexus income, that list is where I want to be focused. If I grab an hour, I want to be doing the things on that list, because again, those things move the needle. And it does not move the needle for me to just scroll and wander and look for things to do. So love that. And then third priority she talked about was any messages with seasoned buyers or seasoned team members. They are important, but doesn't need to be your most urgent thing to respond to. And then the fourth thing she mentioned was targeted engagement. So engagement is everything right now in social media. And so really getting comments and engaging interactions going with your ideal potentials, your ideal clients, people that may not be in conversation with you about Plexus yet, but you're developing rapport by engaging with those people. And she shared in her call that she has their names written in her planner, and she goes straight to their profile or straight to their feed to engage with them in a targeted way. And then Megan Ashman's video was the second one I wanted to highlight for y'all. That hit home for me, because that team had multiple people earn Portugal, multiple people sweep the Leaders Retreat contest. So when you look at what is a top 50 Plexus team with multiple people in the top 50, what are they doing? That was really eye-opening to me. And what I took away from her video was, this is how you be a pro. This is how you be a pro. She said, I am the first voice that is active in my team chat daily. I show that I'm up and at 'em because I want everybody on my team to be doing the same, and I cannot expect them to be up and at 'em working if I'm not leading by example. I love this concept of morning rounds, maybe because my husband's a doctor, but he does morning rounds at the start of every day. So just these basic checking their reports, looking at your goal and looking at what you need to hit that day and your points to reach that goal, looking at your declined credit cards, looking at who's turned their subscription off in the perks report, looking at who is within range to fast start a rank. Just basic things as their morning rounds. But it just really hit home to me that that's what a top 50, multiple people in the top 50 team looks like when it comes to their daily work, and it's truly professional. And so to set the tone and the expectation by your example. One other little thing I just wanted to share, not related to February focus, but I feel like a topic that comes up so much on these calls is shame, like feeling like I'm not where I want to be in my business, or I'm not doing the activity consistently in my business. And so I want to just hide in the corner instead of connect with my people, connect with my team, or connect with sidelines who might be in a similar boat. And Megan and I were talking about it today, and we're just like, let's call it what it is. We get it. Like, seasons are part of the business. And so I came across some notes I just wanted to share with y'all, lightning quick. Oops, I'm on the wrong page. Okay. So I honestly have no idea where these came from, but they're so good. Probably a Plexus event. But I wrote down, treat every failure as an individual event. Do not use it as a reason to judge yourself, but to learn from. So get curious with failure, or things that you feel like are failures. When you immediately assign judgment to a situation, you kill curiosity. And curiosity with these failures is how you are going to have these aha moments. So don't use an event of failure to prove that you're a loser. You are the steward of your thinking. You are the steward of your thinking. We interpret things negatively, but we need to learn how to not make it personal, not make it pervasive, and not make it permanent. So when you have a failure event, we have got to learn how to be the steward of our thinking, not use that event to prove we're a loser, not make it personal, not make it pervasive, and not make it permanent. You are the steward of your thinking. I thought that was fabulous. And I thought how appropriate for this group of people who have done amazing things in Plexus. And maybe you're in a high season, maybe you're in a low season, but you're here because you've done amazing things and you've used your gifts and talents to get where you are. Megan and Justin, do y'all want to share some of your takeaways from that Feb Focus?
For sure. Okay. So one of the things that I have really appreciated about the February Focus, sorry, we're getting interrupted, about the February Focus is that it's basically giving us an opportunity to learn. And as leaders, we never stop learning. And so all of us should be listening to those. Pop an earbud in first thing. Sometimes maybe you have to catch up on a weekend. It doesn't matter. But get that in your ear, because when we are putting ourselves in a position to be encouraged and to be trained and to just hear like what is working for people that are really in momentum and are successful right now, it will help us up level and it will give us more things to talk about to our team. And I will also say leaders don't just listen to those ourselves, but we get our teams inspired to also be listening to them. And that is huge. And that doesn't just mean popping it on your team page, but it might be like putting in a team thread and be like, hey, this is what my takeaway was. Or maybe it's putting it in some individual messages with people on your team, like, oh my word, I just listened to this. You will love it. I'd love to hear a takeaway. And when I'm in conversation, especially with my newest people that are starting to share, I'm like, hey, are you listening to the February Focus calls? Or I'm giving ideas. Even I had someone message, she's like, oh my word, we got new equipment at the hospital. It's crazy right now. And I said, hey, maybe I didn't actually say this. Yep, I'm thinking through my conversation. But what I'm going to tell her is, pop an earbud in, or when you're on your route, like it's going to be crazy till April, it's okay. I had another level one that's full on in tax season. She's an accountant. And I'm like, hey, you can listen to the February Focus calls to and from work. So like to get in there, even in a busy season in life, they can, people on our team, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. They can still be listening and learning and growing themselves as they go about their daily life. So just wanted to mention that. Also, I love that Carissa said that it's a perfect season to restart, because one of the things that really challenged me was actually initiated from a rabbit trail. So I love Emily Gibson. I loved her video about the stop the scroll idea. Okay, so if you didn't listen to that video yet, go listen to it. But she had a board behind her, and I'm such a visual person. I love that she said, our thoughts create our feelings, and then our feelings create our actions, and our actions are what create results. And so this is important for us as leaders to know and to be aware of, because often we see our teammates not taking action, and we're like, take action, take action, take action, so you'll get results, right? When the backstory, like if you back it up, we're maybe unaware that they're struggling big time with mindset and their thoughts, which are totally affecting their feelings. And so that was just a huge awareness piece for me to be like, okay, this is why coaching is important. This is why face-to-face, like a FaceTime video with a new person or someone that's newly sharing is so important, because they can get on with us and hear our perspective. And we can, honestly, you can cover more in a 15-minute conversation than you can like over 6 months of like texting back and forth. So just mentioning that. But Emily in that video was just sharing, she said, basically was saying, do a live video. She's like, that is an important part of sharing Plexus with people. She goes, don't be like posting a video every day. She's like, that's weird. But she goes, decide when you're going to do over the course of a month. Maybe it's once a month, twice a month, once a week. Should decide when you're doing the live. And I think so a lot of us have gotten out of the habit of doing live videos. Okay, so do the live video. And then she was saying, oh, let's see, I think, one thing that happened to me after I listened to her video is that I rabbit trailed. And this is kind of what I wanted to talk on really quickly, is it's a perfect season to restart, especially if you feel like you're not in a season of momentum. Because she gave some really fantabulous ideas in this call that she did about sip and sees. So when was the last time that you hosted an in-person sip and see for yourself or for a teammate? Like, has it been a long time? I know that when I first started Plexus, I did 2 back to back. Life was not perfect. I think I had like 1 stick of Slim left. But I was like, I am doing it this week. I had gone to Indianapolis and heard Shoshana do like a 2 or 3 hour health seminar, and I came home fired up about Plexus products, Plexus opportunity, and I was like, all right, I'm doing this. And so I would just encourage you, if you have not done a sip and see in a while, get one scheduled. And I'm actually encouraging as many people as possible that can host before Leaders Retreat to get them hosted. And I love that Emily said, basically, there's no such thing as organic growth. She's like, throw that out the window. She goes, we create what we want. Like we are the initiators of any sort of growth. Obviously, God is overarching over all of it, but hard work and initiating with our team, with creating the silvers, doing the sip and sees for people, even like having the idea to do it for people and offering that's what's going to create momentum within your team. It's probably for you doing something scary, doing something massively inconvenient or not convenient, but that's what that's what gets us out of our comfort zones. That's what gets us in front of people, and that's honestly the crux of this business. And I think also sometimes I get really scarcity minded in light of my time and what I'm willing to give. But this is the thing. We have got to be willing to be generous with our time and generous with our energy, and in order to help grow more teams, grow more people. So I just was inspired because she said the value of getting in person. She's like, it'll take you 3 to 4 weeks of 3-way chats, conversations, compared to just doing a sip and see for someone. And I think what made hers, she basically took what is already like what works and made it even better by doing the little $5 Walmart gift cards and then basically a free gift with purchase for anyone that signed up that night. So anyways, not to belabor the point, but go listen to that video. I can actually there's a couple of hers that were really, really fabulous that I can throw in the chat for us. So I don't want to take a bunch of time, but that was something that really has been paramount right now for me that I'm doing and initiating with my team. So wanted to share it.
Okay. Let's move on to coaching. I'm really excited to get the chance to chat with Gretchen. We've chatted in many a comment thread, but haven't had the chance face to face. So are you able to unmute?
I sure can. My video, I don't know if you can see me stopping and starting over here, but my sound is strong. So we're good to go.
We can see you. Very good. Okay, well, why don't you introduce yourself and your business to the group a little bit? Just give us a bio.
Okay, well, thank you very much, first of all, for your time, for your insight. I've been praying for this time that the Lord would fill your mouth and open my eyes to understand things. My name is Gretchen. I'm Senior Ruby. Started back in 2016 for the business. Was one of those things I was never going to do. Sat down with Justin and Megan and grilled them on the compensation plan, and it was so different from what I expected. The rest is history. And yeah, it's been a fantastic ride. Huge blessing.
Yeah, amazing. What rank are you?
Senior Ruby.
Okay, amazing.
Blessed and grateful.
Yes. Wow. Do you ever, I don't want you to keep talking, but do you ever just stop and think how many people just would die to be Senior Ruby? I remember a girl standing in an opportunity meeting crowd when they asked the Senior Rubies to stand up. They stood up, and I just saw this one girl, and I was like, I just can't even believe it. There's probably so many people that see you that way.
Yes, I went Senior Ruby in a very, very difficult life season and have maintained it for about 3 years now. So tremendously grateful for that.
Okay.
Ready wanting to move on, but very thankful.
Yeah, well, good. How long have you been with Plexus in total?
6 years, almost 6 years.
Yeah, so very similar to me. So you've seen a lot of the shifts and evolutions of the industry and social media. And what about family? What is your situation like with that with family?
Kyle, my husband, is extremely supportive. It was actually his idea. I was the one saying, no, this is going to be terrible. So he is extremely supportive. We have 6 kids that we homeschool, 13 down to 2, 1, possibly 2 with special needs. We're still in process of figuring some things out there. So yeah, that's what it looks like on the family end. And of course, the products have been hugely beneficial for everybody in the family.
Amazing. Okay, so you mentioned a few wins already, one being that you have been able to make it to Senior Ruby, and you have held that rank. You have held on to Senior Ruby points for 3 years. So that's incredible. Would you say, can you share a few other things that are maybe a little more zoomed in that are going well right now in your business since, I don't know, since Q4 and into Q1?
Yeah, end of Q4, I had my biggest recruiting month ever. So that was extremely exciting.
Wow. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah,
How about in Q1?
what was that?
How about in Q1? As we've kind of gotten into the new year and new contest, and it all just has flipped over really fast. What do you think is working well with your team right now?
Well, I just got finished doing one-on-one coaching with all of my folks that are sharing, and I do have a number of different folks that are sharing the business, which is a huge win. I am also implementing I've been doing monthly team calls for a while, but I'm implementing doing a small, short weekly training in my team thread. And having done the coaching calls, that gave me a lot of material, a lot of seen and felt needs to know what to be sharing, what to be training on. And I feel like doing short weekly trainings is and will continue to be really beneficial on multiple layers, getting my face in front of them, getting these topics out. Not every time, but last week I did do a little gift card incentive with it to have them respond to me. That was very well received, well responded to. So I'm excited about that. Also, Instagram, I feel like I need to learn a lot more about how to utilize it with Plexus, but doing the 21 Hard helped me kick some things into gear over there, and that's actually been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
I hear that from a lot of people who are like really diving into their Instagram, that they're just having a lot of fun over there. Well, wow. I feel like already you've given everybody else at least a lot of good ideas. And I love what you said about like, you took those coaching sessions and really heard and felt and saw the needs that you could then turn around and provide training for. So way to go on that. So, I mean, is there an area where you feel stuck or an area where you feel kind of like, what do I do here?
well, of course, right?
Okay.
We all
Let's talk about that.
Sure thing. Well, I am definitely at the point. I've been at Senior Ruby for 3 years. I've had some months where I've dipped below to Ruby, but right solidly there. And I am at the point where I am feeling a little stuck, feeling like I'm ready to move forward. And that in and of itself is a win of sorts. I went Senior Ruby the month before my mom passed away from cancer. So, and then we had baby number 6 after we had decided that our quiver was full with number 5. The Lord knew better, but that was a big mental shift. And that was at the beginning of 2020. Okay. So to be at the point where I am feeling like I want to move forward is a win.
In and of itself.
Because
to even be able to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, so what is
Um,
stopping you? What do you think?
mhm. Well, I feel like I'm at the point where I need to recruit my Emerald team. My team is fabulous, but I know that I need to not depend on them to get me farther.
Mhm.
So I need to be recruiting, and I need to be finding my Emerald team business builders. Probably the thing that I feel like behind that, um, what I feel like, and I've been kind of processing this as we've been going through coachings, is I feel like I'm too slow. Um, this really wasn't a pattern that I identified until being in Plexus doing, what's it called? Enneagram. I am a 9. And yeah, I remember doing a power hour with a sideline partner, and we took 10 minutes, and we were just going to do as many reach outs as we could in 10 or whatever. There was a specified amount of time. She got 10 done. I got 3 done. I just don't, and I've seen this looking back in other areas in my life, in music and orchestra, was fast passages I struggled with. In sign language interpreting, it was always speed and finger spelling that I struggled with. And I feel like I'm not fast enough of a recruiter, fast enough in responding. Um, and an area of struggle would be when I try to speed up too much, or where there's just like too much on my brain, too much going on, too much detail, like mistakes, things start slipping.
Mhm.
Not, I mean, everybody makes mistakes, but I guess a recent example would be, or I miss out on things. Recently we had the beauty event going on for February, but I was still trying to finish up coaching sessions with all of my leaders, which stretched into the beginning of February. So I didn't really utilize that as much as I could have. I didn't initiate. There were some people on my team that initiated beauty groups. I did not, just didn't get it done because I felt like I was still catching up, trying to do coaching sessions. And then there was one week in particular where there was just a lot on my brain, a lot Plexus. There was a family situation with my widowed father, and we're in the process of kind of trying to assess another of our children that might have special needs. And there was so much, I just started making silly mistakes, not on purpose, not like a self-sabotage weird thing, but like an example would be, I had offered to go live in one of those beauty groups that some of my downline were hosting. So carved out the time, let my hubby know, got spiffed up, got on, did the live, and it was the wrong day. It
Oh,
was
wow.
a day early.
Yeah.
I had just written it on my calendar wrong. And, it's fine. We flow with it. She
Mhm.
wasn't ruffled.
Mhm.
We made it work.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's just something that I see. And it's not all the time, but it is when I just got so much, and I don't know, my brain gets full or something. So
Yeah. So
that's what I
I'm hearing
feel.
you say, like, you're not altogether thrilled with your pace. You'd like to pick up the pace, but you feel like when you try to pick up the pace, your accuracy or things start to slip through the cracks. Yeah. And I think a lot of us can resonate with that. I don't think you're unique in that. And I don't think it's because you're a 9 necessarily. I think that we all deal with that. And do you have help with your business?
I do. I got a personal assistant who is wonderful. Um, Over a year ago, and she does, yeah, she does some things for me. She does end of the month graphics. What else does she do? She lets me know about Plexus Orphans. She keeps an eye on that for me. And then I've had her help me with like sending out Christmas gifts. She mails my samples if I want to send things out, because getting to the post office is always a struggle.
Oh yeah.
So
you don't need to be at the post office.
So there are probably ways that I
have someone
should be using her more.
Okay. So you feel like you could be using her more. And maybe when you see certain tasks, when you start to recognize patterns of what maybe falls through the cracks, you can jot them down and go, how can I for me, I have started paying attention to the things on my calendar that I consistently kick off to the next day. And if there are certain things that I kind of keep kicking down the road, I start to ask myself, is there a way for, her name is Betsy, to take that off my plate? If it's important enough to be on my calendar, but I keep putting it off, then it's not getting done. So maybe it's something that can be delegated and taught. So maybe you can start to take, jot down some of these things that you feel like fall through the cracks, and maybe there are some patterns. What just generally speaking maybe isn't in your strength zone or your gift zone, or you just don't, maybe sucks your joy. And so those types of things, maybe, you said maybe you should be delegating more. So maybe that would help you. Back to the topic of your pace, you like, your life is, whoa, there's a lot going on in your family. And so what sort of time each day do you have, set aside and protected for Plexus? How much time?
Yeah, I have my morning time. My hubby is great. He gets up and does breakfast with the kids. So I usually finish up with my quiet time at 6:30, and then I will do Plexus until I try to wrap it up by 8. So that's when I really try to hit my IPA, the kind of the meat of what I need to do. And then this school year has been different. I haven't had I haven't had a really good carved out time later in the day to really dig in, respond to messages and things like that. So I feel like I've been a little more haphazard later in the day, and that would probably be a good thing to look and see if I can carve out some time then, which might make things feel a little less harried. So I do things later in the day.
Like an hour and a half for you, since you are wanting to really pick up momentum and rank up, I would say that you do need more time. And I think if I were, if I just had an hour and a half in the morning, I would feel rushed also. I would feel like I couldn't quite keep up with the pace. I mean, the pace that you're wanting to have doesn't really jive with 1 hour and a half a day. I would say, I think that to give yourself another hour on the back end to kind of hit those responsive type activities, maybe that would give you a little more peace with feeling, like you can't keep up. So I agree with that. Let's see. Is there anything else that comes to mind that feels like just an obstacle?
Probably schedule, and which can be worked on to a certain extent, and during, I guess, maintaining a faster pace. Routine is something that I really like, that I really do well with, which I've learned to leverage because if there's something that needs to happen, I can just make it part of my routine and then it happens. If I can get it incorporated. And yeah, I feel like I struggle with getting burned out, tired out after long seasons of push. a long season of push would be, I don't know, a month and a half of, or, you know, I had a time where I did back to back. I did a 100 person reach out, and then we had a team, you know, 150 or something like that. I did those back to back, and at the end of that, it was kind of like, so I think that would be maintaining a high pace for a long time. I find to be hard.
I get that. So when it comes to, okay, and I think you've said this somewhat, but when it comes to the pace you want to pick up the pace and get to a point where you're growing at the level that it would take to rank up, right? To get from 750 to 1500. And so you've identified that you need a new team to close that gap. You need to be recruiting, and you need business builders. So in your daily hour and a half each morning, are you prioritizing? You said, and first of all, you said you've got your workers promoting the business. So that's been a huge win. So in your morning hour and a half, are you prioritizing posting about all things opportunity? I feel like I've harped on it, but just to repeat, like the paychecks, the community, the personal growth, the perks, the prizes, like everything related to being a business builder in Plexus. So kind of asking just to go over this list. Are you prioritizing posting about those things, helping people on your team post about anything, health wins or anything, shouting people out in your organization every single day, whether it was like, hey, so-and-so got $10 off on President's Day, woohoo, celebrate them, or, you know, so-and-so did a live video or hosted their launch event, just anything and everything. Just a little plug for that, y'all. I think that when you do that, you show your audience that it is fun to be on your team. It's rewarding to be on your team. You're appreciated when you're on Gretchen's team. You're celebrated when you're on Gretchen's team. I want to be on Gretchen's team because look how often she is celebrating the people on her team and all the fun they're having and all the things they're doing. So, and then, so posting about the business, helping your teammates post, shouting people out on your team, and reaching out about the opportunity. Is that stuff happening in your morning hour and a half?
Some, yes.
Some, yes.
And some, no. So when you talk about daily shout outs, I just started instituting, making sure that I'm doing a weekly shout out in my team thread for my team. Okay. So, but when you're talking daily shout outs, are you talking within team thread, or are you talking about in stories and posts?
Good question.
More publicly?
I'm talking about in lots of different avenues. As long as I am daily celebrating someone having a win on my team, I'm happy. But I want it to be sometimes in stories, sometimes on their wall, sometimes on my feed, sometimes in a thread of peers that I think, you know, matters a great deal to them. I would want it to be a variety of those places, because sometimes I want potentials to see these things, and sometimes I want, you know, peers, team members to see these things. So yeah, I would amp that up. If you're kind of trying to do it once a week in a thread, I would aim for, hey, who have I celebrated today, and what audience would it inspire the most, depending on what kind of shout out it is. I'm gonna tie this up at kind of a random place so that the Goffs can chat with Cindy a little bit, but I just enjoyed getting to hear, and I have to shout you out to the group and say that Gretchen was, that month that she talked about her highest recruiting month, like we were there, we saw it. She was really, really actively doing those daily IPAs, and it was a huge inspiration. So, so awesome job on that. I don't know where the Goffs went. Are y'all there? Cindy is ready for you.
Scared them off.
Oh, maybe they had a kiddo interruption. So, okay, well, we can just keep chatting. We have more time then. You said daily, so the shout outs thing is something you see that you could implement into your daily routine. Do you feel like there's anything related to finding your new team and finding business builders? Do you feel like there's anything about that that you tend to resist or avoid?
Avoid. I don't mind. I'm not scared to post about the business, although I think from the coaching calls, I've been able to see more angles to post about the business. And so I'm trying to incorporate that a little bit more. I guess, I don't know if it's an avoidance or, just related to the time thing, but I feel like the number of reach outs should be more to get more momentum going. I'm not afraid to ask people about the business or post about the business. But yeah, I probably just need, since it is a numbers game, higher volume type of thing.
And it's phenomenal that that you take care that those are authentic conversational type, reach outs and conversations.
Well,
but yeah, but I mean, if you just recognize this is the amount of time it takes me to be genuine, I would love to release you from any sort of guilt about that, or just feeling like that's not okay. I think that whatever the amount of time is that it takes you to be genuine is time well spent. And it may just mean that you need more protected plexus time. But again, just to say, hey, an hour and a half a day for someone who is trying to get from senior ruby to emerald, I think anyone would feel rushed and feel like things are falling through the cracks. So it might just be time for a conversation for where you can grab some more of that protected time. Okay, Goffs, I see Megan is back.
Sorry for that.
Oh yeah, that's okay. You ready?
Yes, there was a massive crash and then screaming.
Oh
so
no.
we both ran out of the room. Okay, we're back though. Everything's okay.
Oh good. No stitches? No one needs stitches?
No, that's what I was afraid of though. All righty.
Ready for you.
Let me put it on gallery. There you are. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. All righty, well, let's chit chat for just a little bit. I would love to hear what is going well for you right now in your business. Are you a Ruby, senior Ruby? Where are you at rank-wise?
Ruby.
Ruby?
Ruby.
Okay.
Yes.
Congrats for that.
Thank you. It means a lot. You see, I'm a steady senior gold as far as where I get paid. You see, my points are about somewhere between 350 and 450, more about the 400, but it's still a really nice paycheck. I've always been consistent, but I really had some major bumps, life challenges in the fall to take my time. But it was a conscious choice to slow down, not to stop being consistent, but just not to put the time in that you want to when you're wanting to, of course, get back to Ruby and rank up. But I found that even though I had less time, there was still time I was wasting. So I figured that out toward the end of the year and was able to make good use of my time And now our team is really in a momentum. They're growing. We're all growing. So that's good. And I'd say the major turn is Carissa on the business. Are you all hearing me okay?
It's a little bit,
Okay.
a little bit.
Yeah. I was breaking up a little.
Just a tiny bit, yeah.
Yes. I'm going to try not to freak out because, Carissa, this is the same internet we're using for the business. Meeting tomorrow night. But anyway, Carissa challenged me based on, what has worked for you, Megan. And I got a real release and a freedom, I believe, from the Lord to just promote the business. And I think that is already working well for me and is going to be the turning point to get me to Emerald.
Mm-hmm. Is that different than you were doing before?
Yeah, I would just like the business from time to time, maybe one, and mostly do the products that are a success with the Plexus business. Stumbled onto it, so to speak. They fell in love with the products, and it just seemed like it was easier to get people that way.
Mm-hmm. So now you're making the shift to share the business with people. Yeah.
Major shift.
Oh, good. Yay. Well, that's awesome. And
yeah, that's what I was saying. I made a major shift toward, I'm going to share the business. My goal is to share with 3 people the business every day, and then 3 the products.
okay.
Well, 3 to 5 the business and 3 the product.
Great. That's awesome. Is it feel uncomfortable to you to share that? Whoops, did we lose her?
She was saying tomorrow night she's hosting a business opportunity Zoom with me, Cassie, and her 2 daughters who are on her team, and she's doing it from this hotel room. So she was like, "Oh, I'm trying not to freak out." Maybe we need.
Wonder if she could pop off and then pop back on or something. I was just going to ask her if it's uncomfortable to share the business.
Yeah, let's see if she's.
Oh, maybe she's hopping back on.
Yeah.
Hello, you're back. Oops, you're muted.
How
Are you on a phone or a computer?
I have to do some prayer between now and tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my AirPods out and see if it might work a little better.
Do you ever Zoom from your phone? Or is that what you're doing?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, let's try it without the AirPods.
Okay. So I was just I was just curious if it's uncomfortable for you to share the business now more than the products, or there's been a shift. Is that uncomfortable?
No,
Okay.
that's what happened as I accepted the challenge. I just feel like it was from the Lord that I got a real encouragement
Mm-hmm.
to share the business and freedom. But before, it was harder.
Okay. And
I have gotten good response on that to encourage me. Sometimes people will say they're honored that I asked them or things like that.
sweet.
So I had like the mindset that they were going to feel like I was twisting their arm to do an MLM or something. But I do, you asked the question about mindset, and I do after doing this millionaire book for the second time and going through not all, probably only 10 so far of the February videos, but I have gotten so much out of those 10. I feel like deep down, I still have some mindset issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to search for them, what they are. But I think there are some there. Some are associated with being a minister and the whole, not that I personally have any issues with the amount of money someone can have as a minister or not a minister, but how to relate that in a biblical point of view.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I need to get my mind right on that. So that's something, if you want to tell me how to do that.
Yeah. Well, I think that, one, I wanted just to say, way to go on your reach outs, that people are feeling that way from your messages, that they feel honored that you asked them. That's the goal, honestly. And when you recruit, or when you, I guess, ask successful people, that's the response that they're going to give you. Is like, hey, thank you for asking me. Like you thought enough of them and could see them being part, like a valuable part of your team, and that you chose them, essentially. Whether or not they're going to say yes or not, is kind of neither here nor there. But the fact that they felt that way, I think, is great. And so keep doing what you're doing in light of that. And it's interesting too how that's how people received it. Yet in our minds, we always, it's easy to like morph toward the negative, like, oh, they're going to think I'm twisting their arm, or that, being whatever. When that's not the case, they're thankful, right? So the mindset thing, yes. So anybody that's in Jessica's money mindset call, I'm so proud of you for prioritizing that, because our mindsets will either make us or break us, really, in light of moving forward and having more success. Because even I was talking to someone earlier today, and she was like, this is uncovering issues that I didn't know I even had about money. She's like, I've learned it from my church, my experiences growing up, and so many different things. And so I think bringing awareness to that, and just the perspective that, this is just my personal opinion, is that God's people should have the most money and the most resources so that we can do good with it. I know Jessica has said that before too, but like, what a novel thought, instead of this idea that, well, we're Christians, so we should be poor, or we're a minister, so we shouldn't be making a lot of money. But like, what a blessing to be able to self-fund your ministry, or being able to give extravagantly, being able to like add more zeros onto the numbers on those checks that you write. Like, how fun is that, right? And so have you identified some, like, do you feel like this is going to help you actually, like, your money mindset? Do you feel like that is tied to your Emerald rank up also? Being able to maximize and increase your income by so much?
I'm not sure what you're asking me. Could you reword it?
Sure. I was just curious if you feel like your mindset about income, about money, if that will help you as your rank advancing. Like, because your income is getting ready to, let's see, it's getting ready to go through the roof, like when you go Emerald. And so your mindset around finances, resources, all of that, I mean, do you feel like that's a piece of your next, like, leadership level as you rank advance in Plexus?
Yes, I think so. But I don't feel like I've peeled back to really understand exactly what it is. Because generally, I think I've always had a good mindset.
Mm-hmm.
But I really do believe that mindset is like 90% of it. So the fact that I've been working the business for 5 years, and I'm not as far as I want to be. I really think I believe in you, my leaders, that say it's mindset, but I'm not sure what it is. But I do think some of it is that, we've always done pretty well financially. Like, probably, most of our friends were homeschoolers. We probably were, before Plexus, we were doing better than most of them. There were a few that were better than us, but also, I was able to be a stay-home mom and homeschool because Christians supported our ministry. And yes, we have a few wealthy supporters, but I would say most of our supporters gave out of their need. So with this, I think part of my hang up with my mindset is to not make someone who gave out of their need so that I really live more comfortably than them feel less successful, or put guilt on them for not having the money mindset I think they should have.
Well, you may be.
So I think you have a mindset issue, but it's wanting to be sensitive to the people that love me,
Yeah. Well, and you might be an example of how it's done well. And your income increasing doesn't necessarily mean that anyone would even know that. Some people choose to, like, when their finances increase, they choose to like live on a reverse tithe type of idea, or they're able to give 90% and live on 10%, because their income increases so much. And so, I think it's good to be aware of people in our circle that could be helped or hindered through our perspective or our successes or things like that. But I think too, when you have a heart of serving other people with your life and with your finances and all of that, that it'll be lined up with who you've always been. Because we hear it taught that money magnifies who we already are. And so you see people that go and win the lottery, and like it's like the ruin of them. Well, same thing with, if God entrusts you with more money, and he's entrusting that to you to be a faithful steward over that. And so what a gift. So yeah, I would just kind of just ask for clarity from the Lord as you listen to the mindset book or the mindset call about the money stuff, because there might be some things to uproot there. But also, I do think that it can be a huge piece in, moving forward in your leadership, in your money mindset, and stewarding the opportunity as you go senior ruby and then emerald. So do you tell me about what you want to create really quick, because I know we had to pop up here, but what do you want to create with your Plexus business this year?
Well, I definitely want to re-rank Ruby.
Okay.
This may sound like a little goal, not the re-rank Ruby, but this other goal is I really want winner's dinner.
Okay.
And 2 years ago, when we were in Las Vegas, our last real convention, on the way out, I bought a dress to wear to the next winner's dinner from the airport in Las Vegas. And so I need to wear that dress.
I will see you at winner's dinner.
Did you hear me?
Yes, that was awesome. Well, you made your goal.
But then,
that's good. Were you going to say something else?
Thank you. And then, yes, I want to be enrolled. I also already have my diamond dress.
Okay.
I don't have my emerald dress yet, but I've got my diamond dress. I just bought that a few months ago.
Okay. Well, I have never thought of making your goal a visible goal in the sense of what you're wearing at a specific event, but I love that because you have already visualized achieving that goal. So that is awesome. I'm going to use that. So I think also the shifts that you've made, just to kind of throw a bow around what we talked about, the shifts that you've made in light of sharing the business with people, you are going to attract more people to you that want to join you for the business. Sometimes it takes some time to find those people, but they're out there. And really, when you work on re-ranking Ruby and then senior Ruby and going Emerald, that's what it takes. Like you could technically sign all the level ones, but not recommended. It's best to get some other people on your team pulling the train. And so I would just challenge you to work on developing 2 to 4 to 6 new goals on your team and pray those people into your life and into your business, because I know from experience that God answers prayers like that. And there's going to be some wonderful families that you're going to be able to bless through the opportunity that we have with Plexus. So, and I will see you at Winter's Dinner wearing your dress. That is so exciting. Okay, we'll just wrap
Okay, I've got 415.
Okay.
I've got 415 points now.
Oh,
so
you're almost there. Oh my word.
Okay. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, this was good. I hope you guys glean some nuggets and have some takeaways that you can apply this week and for the rest of quarter 1. It's going to be good. Carissa, do you have anything else you want to say?
I do not. So thank you. And good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.